Alright, everybody. Welcome back to the Garden. This is Garden of Sports baseball podcast. Week 17 prep episode. So your last matchup was a 2-week matchup, so we haven't recorded in 2 weeks just because we didn't want to do just a recap of 3 or 4 days last week. So here we are. And yeah, a lot going on. A lot with the trade deadline. But we'll get to that later in the episode. We're actually going to have a trade deadline section this week instead of talking about making fantasy trades.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about everything that's happened later, including the recent Josh Hader trade that just happened. So big news.
Wow.
So without further ado, surprises of the week.
A surprise, to be sure, but a welcome one.
So we'll start it off with my pitching surprise. Brady Singer. Is he breaking out, Jake? He's been looking good. He's been looking good the last 2 weeks, and he did it against great teams. He his last 2 starts were against Tampa Bay and the Yankees, where he had 12 strikeouts and 10 strikeouts respectively against those 2 good teams. So over the last 2 weeks, he's got 51 fantasy points in 2 starts, 13 innings pitched, 4 hits, only 1 earned run, 3 walks, and 22 strikeouts. So what do you think, Jake? Pretty surprising for sure.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, against Tampa Bay and the Yankees, 12 and 10. I mean, he's a must roster until we see signs of regression.
Yeah.
You know? I don't know if he's even he should be in the grabs, right? He's not even in the grabs, but probably because I didn't realize you have him, don't you? Yeah, we'll add him to one of the top pitchers to grab, and we'll talk about rankings of these guys when we get down there.
Yeah, I know. I just picked him up today, so I was hoping that he would last the weekend. So luckily he did, and I was able to grab him this morning. So
okay, sick.
Yeah, so definitely surprise for me. And then my hitting surprise, Matt Chapman. Call him Dinger Chapman. He's the 3rd best hitter the last 2 weeks, and he's now into the top 70. He's number 66 overall this morning when I checked in Yahoo. So over the last 2 weeks, 57 fantasy points, 10 runs, 4 home runs, 10 RBIs, 6 walks, and he's been hitting .466 over the last 2 weeks. So I mean, he's been phenomenally, and he's definitely helped me going into the playoffs here while he's like scorching hot. So I'm hoping that he can help carry me. He's been needed because I have Mike Trout on the IR, so I'm hoping he comes back for my playoff matchup, but we'll see. But Chapman's been carrying me, so definitely a surprise because he has been kind of struggling so far this season, and now he's definitely found his footing, it seems. So
yeah, and we've been talking about him since the beginning of the year. It took a while to turn out, though, which hopefully you held on, and now you're set at third base.
Or traded for him when we were talking about him as a buy low.
Yeah, I bought him low in the beginning of the season, and then he still obviously struggled for a while, but now it's definitely paying off because I had to get a third baseman in that ESPN league, so totally worth it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I think I had Moncada at the beginning of the year, so wasn't rosterable, so I had to do something. Yeah, but my surprise of the week, Dylan Cease. Crazy stat here, .42 ERA is the 2nd lowest over an 11-start span in a single season since 1913. But, not an all-star.
Bruh.
So 50 fantasy points in the last 14 days. Dude's just been a stud. Yeah, I don't get how he's not an all-star. We'll probably keep talking about that whenever we bring up Cease this year, but yeah, and also we have this nice soundboard if you guys haven't noticed. And
yeah, we're testing.
It's gonna be a lot of fun. Gonna be a lot of fun to use. Liven up the episodes.
Yeah, it'll be great.
And Hunter Renfroe for my hitter, he's on a home run streak, and this is what he does. He just kind of goes on a month-long or 2-month-long stretch every year. 6 homers in the last 9 games, 46.5 fantasy points in the last 14 days. So I think he is like a 73% owned player, but if he is available, you could grab him if you need some power.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get into key pickups, though.
A surprise, to be sure.
Oh my God.
But a welcome one.
Jesus. I'll take hitters for key pickups. Seth Brown, .234 batting average, 15 home runs, 44 RBI, 7 stolen bases on the year, only 12% owned, and he's actually been hitting, I think he hit 2 dingers over the weekend. But I did not realize that they only had 5 games going into this week, so if you're going into playoffs, I wouldn't grab him. So I have him as one of the first players here on the list, but he's probably not actually ranked the highest, if that makes sense. Yuli Gurriel, .240 batting average, 7 home runs, 28 RBI, 6 stolen bases on the year, 44% rostered. It looks like he's kind of entering a hot streak. I mean, he used to be like a 90% owned player. He's fallen to 44, and he's on Houston, so he's got support. Definitely a guy you can grab to use as a utility, see if he stays hot.
Yeah.
Andrew McCutchen, wanted to talk about him because he's up to rank 111 now in points leagues, .258 batting average, 10 home runs, 45 RBI, 6 stolen bases, 44% rostered. So if you need to bolster your outfield, go ahead and grab McCutchen. Pretty reliable. Yandy Diaz, he was my replacement for the Boston third baseman when he went to the IL. And he's been a great fill-in, so .293 batting average, 5 home runs, 33 RBI, 1 stolen base. He's up to rank 101 in points leagues, 41% rostered. So yeah, if you lost, who's the Boston third baseman? Why am I blanking right now?
Oh, Devers.
Yep, Devers. So that's what I would suggest for replacing Devers if you're in a competitive league. You might have been able to get Diaz. And then Roman Laureano, same schedule, only 5 games this next week, just like Seth Brown. .221 batting average, 10 home runs, 22 RBI, 10 stolen bases, 47% rostered. So another outfielder you can fill in. And then this guy's probably one of my top grabs at outfield. .296 batting average, 2 home runs, 28 RBI, 8 stolen bases. Stephen Kwan, up to rank 126. 50% rostered. He started out the year really hot, if everybody remembers, and he was like a must grab. Then kind of had some injuries and slowed down, and now he's kind of picking back up from the beginning of the year. He's a rookie in Cleveland, speedster. He's an on-base guy. He's not going to get you a bunch of home runs, obviously, but he's doing really well. And then I did want to bring up one more player that I didn't write down here. Jose Miranda on Minnesota. First base, third base. Eligibility. He's a young kind of breakout player. He has been really hitting the ball well since July 17th. And yeah, I would grab him to fill in if you need a first base, third base. .276 batting average, 10 home runs, 39 RBI, 48% rostered. So check him out. And then, you know what? I gotta bump up this guy real quick. So this is actually a longer list. Alec Bohm, when we typed this out, he was on the watch list, but now I'm thinking he's a must-grab player. He's up to rank 180, .292 batting average, 6 home runs, 40 RBI, 1 stolen base, 51% rostered. This might be my top grab. Philadelphia third baseman. He's up to 55% rostered now, actually, since yesterday when we typed this, and up to rank 157, so...
Wow.
He's really seeing the ball well, and, you know, if you're entering playoffs, you want a guy in a hot streak. So I really like this youngster on Philly.
Yeah.
There you have
Sounds
it.
great.
Who you got for pitchers, bro?
Yeah, pitchers. We got Reed Detmers, 3.84 ERA, 1.07 WHIP, 63 strikeouts. He's only 32% rostered, and he's on the Angels. I know they kind of suck, but I don't know. He's, doing decent. Definitely a good streaming pitcher so far this season. So,
yeah, I think he's a must grab in the second half here.
You think so?
Four quality starts in a row. And if you remember earlier in the season, he was the guy who had the no-hitter. And I think he was the youngest player to ever do it, or something like that. Something crazy. He has some kind of crazy stat with it. But yeah, rookie came up, so he started out hot. Then he went through probably a couple of rough months, but now it looks like he's figuring it out again. Last night against Texas, career high in strikeouts with 12. So yeah, I think if you're looking for a second half guy, this might be the one.
Okay.
And yeah, like you said, low rostered.
Yeah, definitely very low rostered. You can pretty much get this guy. And he's, respectable numbers for sure. And then we also got Nick Lodolo, 4.73 ERA, a 1.67 whip, 47 strikeouts on the season, and he's only 30% rostered. You can get this guy.
Mm-hmm. Oh, he's down to 4.23 now after last night against Baltimore. He had a good game, so he's just had a bunch of good games in a row lately, and he's another guy that looking like a second half great grab.
Okay.
I'd have to look at his last. I should have put like their last 30 days or something on here instead of their season, because the season's not giving the full picture,
Mm-hmm.
But let me look at last 30-day total. You keep going.
Okay. And then, moving on, we got Ian Anderson, 4.99 ERA, 1.5 whip, 90 strikeouts, 62% rostered. So this guy, he's still out there in a lot of leagues, but out of all these key pickup pitchers we're talking about, this guy is the highest owned. So you'll have to go definitely check and see if he's available, and you'll want to probably pick him up. He's definitely a high strikeout guy. So, and on one of the better teams in the league too, in Atlanta. So definitely want to be going and checking on Ian Anderson.
For sure, yeah. And I brought him up because he was dropped in our league and is available. So he has been up and down, but if there's any chance of him finding this playoff form from last year, you want to take it,
Mm-hmm.
And then, back to the guys that we've been talking about. Reed Detmers, 19.75 average points in the last 30 days, which is, see here, 8th highest out of all pitchers. So, been doing really good. And then Lodolo, let me find him here real quick. He's had about almost 50 points in the last 30 days. And, I'm trying to find his average.
Jake, I'm going to step away, use the bathroom real quick.
Oh.
Sorry.
Okay.
Back.
Okay.
Sorry about that. Did you keep going, or are you waiting for me?
Just waiting for you, dude.
Oh, okay.
So you can cut that out.
Where were you? Yeah, I'm gonna cut all that out. Where were you?
Nick Lodolo. So he's at a 10.6 average in the past 30 days, which isn't as high, but then 2 quality starts in a row, and I think just he's another young pitcher that's turning the corner for the second half, which we kind of know, like playing fantasy baseball, that there's always usually younger arms in the second half that have more left in the tank that do better. So
Hmm.
I think this is another great second half pickup. We already talked about Ian Anderson. Aaron Ashby, I was pretty high on him going into the second half, and he kind of laid a dud his start over the weekend. So I still like him. He has like a multi-pitch arsenal that's pretty deadly, and then the Milwaukee Brewers obviously believe in him because they already extended his contract, or kind of got him on a team-friendly deal, but they wanted to lock him up so that they couldn't lose him because they know he's got the stuff. So,
Okay.
yeah, he's had a couple decent starts. He's a guy to look at if you're looking for some upside.
Yeah, and then we also got Cole Irvin, pitcher on Oakland A's.
Right.
3.05 ERA, 1.04 WHIP, 74 strikeouts, 43% rostered. This guy's usually great for a stream. He's pretty solid most of the time.
I mean, he's looking like their best pitcher right now, I think.
Yeah. It was Paul Blackburn there for a little while.
Mm-hmm.
And that bum freaking beat Cease out for the All-Star game.
Bruh.
Yep.
So,
Cole Irvin against all teams in July, posting a 1.85 ERA, 0.65 WHIP. So I think he's a kind of a must-own. And
yeah, I'm going to be going and checking on this guy. Definitely go pick him up if he's available. I mean,
the last one,
solid numbers.
21 fantasy points against Houston. And most people, Houston's usually lighting up pitchers, not getting beat. So, yeah.
Yeah, and he's owned in our league, of course. But and then lastly, we got Brady Singer. We talked about him earlier. Obviously, he's one of my surprises for this week, but we'll bring him up again. You know, over his last two starts, 51 fantasy points, 13 innings pitched, 4 hits, 1 earned run, only 3 walks, 22 strikeouts. Guy's great. Pulling up his overall numbers here right now.
For sure. And then I want to rank all these guys just because the pitching does matter.
He's pitching against the White Sox tomorrow. We'll see how that goes. But he got 23 fantasy points against Tampa Bay. Only gave up 3 hits, only 1 earned run, 12 strikeouts. And then against the Yankees, 7 innings pitched, only 1 hit, no earned runs, one walk, 10 strikeouts. He's on a fucking roll here. On the season, he's got 91 strikeouts in 84 innings pitched, so he's a good strikeout guy. 3.5 ERA, 1.1 WHIP. He's on the Royals, so that's why his overall numbers are pretty low, but he's looking like a very good pitcher. So, a guy that's definitely on the rise. So, definitely be trying to get him if he's available. He could be a sneaky good the rest of the way here.
Yep, and if I'm going to rank these 6 pitchers, I'm going Detmers, Singer, Lodolo, Cole Irvin, Ian Anderson, Ashby.
Okay.
Just for
I think I could definitely
anybody
agree
who
there.
can only grab one guy, you know?
Yep.
All right, and then watch list deep league moves. Kyle Lewis, back and playing. Do you believe it? I don't know how I feel about him, but only hitting .194 right now. Give it a few weeks, see if he picks it up. So yeah, definitely add to the watch list because he was Rookie of the Year a couple years ago, and you want to see if that kind of play comes back. So he beat out Luis Robert for it.
This is definitely a guy just to put on your watch list. That's obviously why he's in the watch list section. But you might think it's funny to even be watching him right now because he's doing so bad. But I think just because of what he's capable of doing, what he's done in the past, I think you can definitely justify watching him and maybe even picking him up now if you're in a very deep league and there's really nothing out there worth adding right now and you just want to take a chance on somebody. If you got somebody that you're looking at dropping, maybe pick him up because this guy can get hot and go on and he can be a has shown that he can be a very good player in the past. So,
Mm-hmm.
and if he starts picking it up, everybody's going to be going to Adam. So maybe you can get in on the ground floor and get him before he starts his little hot streak, which he could definitely get on any time. He's already been playing for almost 2 weeks, so maybe he's starting to get a feel out there now and can be picking it up here. So
Yeah. And same with this name, Domingo German, kind of a name just like Kyle Lewis, but not performing yet. I mean, his first game up was against Houston, so like really threw him to the fire there. His second game was against the Mets. He got 10 fantasy points, only pitched 4.2 innings, 7 strikeouts, so he's looking better. And then I really want to see what he does today against Seattle. This would be a big test.
Yeah.
So see if they pitch him more innings, see if he can kind of keep what he was doing against the Mets going. Because I kind of give him a pass in the Houston game because some of the best hitters or best hitting lineup in the league, and he only pitched 3 innings, and it was his first game back.
Mm-hmm.
So jury's still out. And then another guy who we've pinned as a second half guy is Yohan Moncada. And I think he's been okay in the second half so far. Not what we were hoping, but
he's doing a lot better than he was like his first few games for sure. Like he's looking a lot better now, getting some hits, walking. He's looking a lot more like himself. But the numbers still have a long way to go. But
yep, hopefully this Kansas City series is a big turnaround for him starting tonight.
Yeah.
And then Colton Wong, I thought we could like deep league move is if you need a second baseman, like if you had, I don't know, it's just a hard position to fill. So Colton Wong is heating up for the Brewers, 36% owned, rank 170 in points leagues, .249 batting average, 7 home runs, 25 RBI, 11 stolen bases. So he's done this before where he's gone on a hot streak, and it looks like he's in the midst of one of those. So go ahead and if you need to fill in second base in a deep league, go ahead and grab him.
Yeah.
And then a couple of stashes, which is a new section for us. Wander Franco, I wanted to talk about him because I saw people were dropping him. It's like I know he's still over 90% owned, but he used to be like 97, so he's down to 92 in Yahoo. He was dropped in my ESPN league. I went and stashed him. So, just if you're aware that he could come back this year and he's available in your league, and you have IL spots, this is a must grab, I think, for a stash.
Oh yeah.
And then same with Dustin May. We talked about him 2 weeks ago, but now he's closer to returning. Manager Dave Roberts said that he will work 4 innings in his next minor league rehab start with AAA. So he's getting there, and people are starting to grab him. He's almost 50% owned, so see if you can go stash this guy. So yeah, let's get into trade deadline news, bro.
Yeah.
You want to take this on?
Yeah, trade deadline news. I don't know if you can hear, but man, whatever's going on in the apartment above me, and they are just pounding. I don't know if that's coming into the podcast. Hopefully not, but I am.
I hear some slight background noise,
kinda,
but it's not as loud for us. Oh, yeah, what are they doing?
It's kind of hard for me to focus, honestly, right now. I don't know what the hell's going on up there. But... and so sorry if I sound distracted, but that's hard for me to focus with all that pounding going on upstairs. So, but let's get into this trade deadline news here. And we have a couple updated ones since we typed this that we'll be going over too. I have the article pulled up here. But started off, Jake, we'll give a little discussion on this too. Andrew Benintendi to the Yankees for 3 pitching prospects going back to Kansas City. So I don't know, man. All I've been hearing for the last couple of years is how the Royals are trying to rebuild, and Benintendi was such a great move because he would fit in with like the young guys because he's still kind of young himself.
Yeah,
he'd be one of their main guys on the team, and he was having a really good year. But the Kansas City was not having a great year. Are you kind of surprised that they moved off of him when? It's just kind of, I don't know, it's kind of surprising to me because they brought him in to be like a key part of their rebuild.
Yeah, but if you can get, I think, pitching prospects back, which is harder to fill with a young rebuilding team, I think it was worth
Mhm.
it. I mean, Benintendi's in his prime, and they weren't going to win probably when he was there, so it depends on the prospects. I'd have to see, those names, those ranks. I haven't seen those.
I can tell you who they are. That just this article
Okay.
doesn't give you like where they're ranked overall though.
Okay.
But the prospects were right-handed pitcher Chandler Champlin, left-handed pitcher TJ Sakema, and right-handed pitcher Beck Way. So we'll have to look into those guys more.
Okay. But I
But-
definitely like it for the Yankees just to go on a run. I know outfield they were missing just because they had Joey Gallo and one of the he's been horrible. So I think this is the perfect fill-in.
Yeah.
And he's a speedster, which I think they needed on the team because they have a lot of power, right?
Mm-hmm.
But not a lot of speed. I mean, they're DJ LeMahieu's older now,
Yeah.
I don't really know
and
how much speed they have.
they don't have a lot of speed. They're a lot of older players, but Benintendi, he's a type of guy where maybe LeMahieu they can move him down, and Benintendi can be a great leadoff guy because he still is fast. In his prime, he's a great hitter, great on base percentage. Like he draws a lot of walks, and he just had like a 3-walk and 4-walk games for the Yankees just over the last 2 nights. So I mean, he's seen the ball very well. He hasn't really got a lot of hits yet for the Yankees, but he could still be adjusting to being on the new team so fast because he was traded and he started the very next day for the new team. So I mean, he had no adjusting time with his teammates or anything. So I'm sure like by this weekend and into next week, he'll start to settle in. But they're already batting him high in the order, testing him out up there. So I think that maybe they'll go him leadoff guy. I'm not sure, and they'll move LeMahieu down a little bit. But we'll see how it goes. I mean, it's definitely a great move for the Yankees. They have a very versatile lineup of different types of hitters, which is what you want. So,
For sure.
yeah, I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Then we got Daniel Vogelback to the Mets for Colin Holderman. Don't know who that is. Think some prospect. But Vogelback, all he does is hit dingers. So, what do you think, Jake? That a good move there? Or do you think it's just kind of just another lefty hitter just off the bench?
I think it's good for whoever gets Vogel back. I mean, I feel like he's the key piece, right?
Yeah, the Mets got him. They just gave up one prospect.
Holderman, a young prospect. That's it.
He's a prospect, so
Okay.
yeah.
And he had good numbers when he was up. I guess 4 wins.
Yeah, I mean they just needed they got one of the better lefty hitters.
And they were stacked at pitching, so it's just a good move for both teams.
Yeah, so that's just a pretty good move for a playoff contender.
And as far as fantasy goes, I mean, Vogelback's the only name obviously worth rostering. And
yeah,
I'm pretty sure he is by every league. No, he's only 4% rostered. So, I mean, he's really only a deep league move. You don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, and then another kind of bigger one, more fantasy relevant for the Mets. They also acquire Tyler Naquin and lefty pitcher Philip Deal. I think he's like a lefty bullpen arm. So they're really bolstering their bullpen for the playoffs there with that lefty reliever. And then they got some dinger hitting guys in Naquin and Vogelback. They're going to have a very deep lineup of guys. So
for sure. Yeah, that's another guy for fantasy. I mean, I like the moves. I just think for fantasy, Naquin's not. He goes on hot streaks, and then that's it. So we'll see. But nothing we have to worry about.
And then
here's a big one
that will be a big one that we'll be spending some time on here. Luis Castillo to the Mariners for 4 prospects. So a big prospect haul for Cincinnati for sure. So, what do you think about Luis Castillo to the Mariners, Jake?
Dude, I love it because now they have 2 potential aces in him and Robbie Ray. And I think, they're in the playoffs, aren't they? I mean, they are.
Good. They won on that big winning streak that got them in there, yeah.
They have a lot of good hitters. Obviously, the rookie is a beast. Even though he just went to the IL, Julio, he'll be back.
And what's his face? The other Jared Kelenic. We'll see if he can come back and do something.
Yeah, he just came up. He was doing good at AAA again. He's always doing good at AAA. It's just he hasn't translated it yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it, man, and like it's good for Castillo too.
Hell yeah, dude! I think it's great for Castillo going to an actual good team.
It's not really
now.
gonna. Yeah, it's not really gonna be. I mean, you could try to trade for him, but he was already ace level this whole year, so I don't know if you can get him.
Yeah, it'd be pretty tough. I tried to get him, but for some reason, someone in our league didn't want to trade anymore because he was out of the playoffs, which is pretty stupid if you ask me. But whatever. So
no, I like that because, I mean, you were probably trying to be fair, but like I've been in leagues in different sports and whatnot where like there's like a number 1 seed trading with the bottom seed, getting the bottom seed's best player.
Yeah, but I don't understand it because we're in a league that has vetoes in place with people that care. So I wouldn't have ever been able to get a bullshit trade to go through. So that doesn't really apply to this situation. So
maybe
offers that go through would have to be fair because everybody votes on it. So
for sure, that's just his thinking, though. I think
Yeah, I get it. If we were not in a league that that was like that.
Oh my god.
I'm not salty.
So petty.
Yeah. It's my fault.
Oh my gosh.
We talk all the time about making trades, and then I try to make a trade, and nope.
It is harder in this baseball league because some people are stubborn, and then some people don't get on and check it. So
yeah,
for sure.
And then we got Dodgers getting a reliever, Chris Martin, further bolstering their bullpen, and they send Zach McKinstry to the Cubs. So that Zach McKinstry, he can be a decent little utility guy. Not nothing really to talk about there though for the Cubs, but Chris Martin to the Dodgers. Chris Martin's been having a pretty good year as a reliever. Not so much a fantasy guy because he's not a closer, but he is a pretty good bullpen.
Why'd they give up 4 prospects for him? Did they give championship?
They gave up 4 prospects? I thought it was just...
you put 4 prospects. Oh, no, I'm looking at... I mixed up the lines. Yep, you're good. Zach McKinstry.
It was just Chris Martin for McKinstry. But,
okay. Yeah, if it'll help them, because they're going for the chip, obviously.
Yeah.
Nothing fancy.
Zach McKinstry, he's a second baseman, Jake, so... Does that mean that the Cubs are kind of down on Nick Madrigal?
Do you know much about McKinstry? I'm looking at him now.
I know that he's just a super utility guy. Can kind of play anywhere. One of those dudes.
Yeah. Well, he's old. He's 27. I think they'll still be testing out the younger guy, but they're obviously worried because he hasn't done anything, right?
Yeah, he's just been. He keeps getting hurt, Nick Madrigal, with the hamstring or whatever. Every time he gets close to coming back, he gets re-injured.
Oh, okay. He's going too hard then. Just a lost year for Madrigal. You can't really discount him or, I think, the real test will be next year for Madrigal.
Yeah, agreed. And then we got David Peralta to the Rays. What do you think about that one?
I mean, Peralta has been pretty good in the past, and this is... If the Rays wanted him, they see him as a guy who can get on base, and that's what they care about, going off of computer analytics. So he could definitely be a grab. I mean, man, I'd have to look at how the Rays are doing lately because they've had a lot of injuries. 3-7 in the last 10, so they're just looking for any kind of spark in the hitting category. That's all. He's not fantasy relevant yet.
Yeah. Not yet, but maybe here, just be watching him. He could go on he can hit a bunch of dingers in a short time, so just be watching it. And then lastly, Jake, the big one that just went through a little bit ago, Josh Hader to the Padres. For a haul, Milwaukee got a a closing replacement, Taylor Rogers. They got highly ranked prospect. Well, he was already pitching for San Diego. Dinelson Lamet. A lot of people are still high on him. He's still young.
Oh my gosh, they gave up. Wow.
Left-handed pitcher Robert Gasser and outfielder Esteury Ruiz, who's probably just like a bench guy, or maybe a low-level prospect. But we got a haul back for Josh Hader. But still, though, San Diego, they're in contention, and they got the best player in the deal. So the best closer in the game, and he's a lefty. And that just makes him. He's like the best statistical closer, and he's a lefty, which makes him even more valuable. So I mean, it's just
Hader?
They got the best. Yeah, Hader.
Yeah, it is his worst year yet though. 4.24 ERA. Sorry. I would try to trade for him in fantasy. This is probably the biggest move to where a change of scenery can maybe turn him back to his.
Whoever has him is not going to give him up with this going down now. You would have had to try and trade before the deadline.
Yeah. No, you could see.
Yeah.
I would try to trade for Taylor Rogers might be hard to get to, but yeah, I would go for Hader, dude. If there's any chance, it's now because his ERA is bloated. So see if you can make something happen. If you need if your league is, you have a reliever spot where you have to have relievers, then totally worth it.
Yeah.
Or if you're in a league like I'm in my ESPN league where you can only have so many starts per week, then you can't just hoard starters. Then I'm running 4 relief pitchers just to get extra points. So I'd try to get him for sure. I might send over an offer. It's going to take a lot. Obviously, he's supposed to be the best reliever in the league. So, but in fantasy, he's not this year. I think it's Edwin Diaz.
Yeah, Edwin Diaz is having a hell of a year, but yeah, Josh Hader, this is going to be a great move for the Padres, and yeah, like you're saying, he could, with a change of scenery on a really good team, start performing a lot better. So we'll have to be watching it for sure. But I mean, this definitely makes the Padres more of a World Series contender now.
Yeah, is Tatis back?
He's going to be coming back here soon. That's a good question.
I figured he wasn't. I just wanted to get the latest update because if they have any chance, they need Tatis at his best. Because
he is taking live batting practice today.
Nice. Because the third baseman's been having like an amazing year. So pairing Tatis at his best with him would be Manny Machado.
Yeah, if this batting practice, live batting practice goes well, he's going to start a rehab assignment, and if everything goes perfectly, he's looking like maybe mid to late August here. He'll be back.
Okay.
Tatis.
Yeah, then they could be contenders for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Because they're in, right? As of right now, they're doing good enough to get in?
They're in for sure, yeah.
Well, they're a wild card.
Yep.
They're the second wild card, so they need to keep it up.
But yeah, that's all the trade deadline news. So
yeah, we'll keep you posted. We'll keep making social media posts and
yeah,
and website's coming again.
It's coming for sure.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, kind of a shorter episode this week, guys, but we'll be back, next week, and we'll go over more the rest of the trade deadline stuff that's going to be happening. So yeah, thank you all for listening, and just remember to go follow us on our social media. We have Facebook.com/Garden of Sports Podcast. We have Instagram.com/Garden of Sports. And we have Twitter, Twitter.com/GOSPod2021. Go give us a follow, and remember to like and subscribe on this video here and on our YouTube channel. We definitely would appreciate it as we're trying to grow our community. So just, as always, thank you for listening, and we'll catch you all next week.
Yeah, thanks everyone.